What great transformation will the world see in the next decade?
When you think of transformations, we can go back into time and see that there were some ages that have been carved out in the time and across time. And what we would say is the next age is about the human age. And we've talked about this for some time, but it's actually coming to more of reality. We've also heard this language of the new normal, and I actually believe we're past the new normal. The next decade is going to be about a new ecosystem. The world is figuring itself out, and this ecosystem in the human age is going to be a lot more complex. You've got the emerging markets that are actually the drivers of the economies across the world. You have this fading middle class in some of the developed and more developed markets. All of these create what we would call forces, which is really the reversal of the growth model. In other words, it's now not about this supposedly infinite amount of natural resources with this infinite amount of talent and finite amount of information. It's actually the opposite of that. It's an infinite amount of information and finite human capital or natural resources. So we have to deal with that in the next decade. We have to deal with this abundance inversion, which is what's really happening out there with the emerging markets and the developed markets. How are we really going to put some of this talent scarcity and talent shortages and mismatch to work? And then, of course, there's the technology. And we look at technology as a real enabler to the human age, which is going to move things at great paces we've not experienced before. So agility and how you're using some of the transparency of technology will be key. All of that comes on to a new kind of transforming of ecosystem, as I talked about. And how will we manage this new global ecosystem instead of a national ecosystem? That's what we see for the next decade.
What new models will drive change in your industry?
When we look at our industry, which is about putting people to work and finding the right talent and matching that talent with the needs of our clients, technology will play a huge role in that. The matching will be part of it. What's happening in social media, which is our largest usage of finding people. But really what will occur is marrying high touch with high tech. It's those two things together. It's still about communities. It's still about people coming together and wanting to talk about their skills and talent. And then, of course, having a relationship with the company that they work with and put their life into for that moment, whether it be for a month, a year, or 10 years. That's really some of the things that will be occurring in our industry.
How can organizations build competitive innovation for the next generation?
The bar for innovation is going to be continuing to ratchet up. Innovation before could have been more of a methodical, plodding, pedestrian kind of process. The world is moving too fast for that. So innovation is about unleashing the potential within the human age. It's about driving that unleashed potential and harnessing it, giving it guardrails so that it can innovate at the base level and then turn it into something that actually has scale to it. And it's the whole agility associated with innovation that must change. And we do see that changing. We see that changing in our organization. It's something we strive for, which is our 4,000 offices really innovating and us being able to pull that innovation out. But they innovate within some guardrails so that we don't waste our time, that we don't, if you will, go off the ranch. So innovation will be about unleashing human potential.
How can your industry work with other stakeholders to improve the state of the world?
Our industry plays a critical role in what's happening. Having a job is honorable. Being put to work is honorable. And work is becoming more elusive for many people. At the same time, work is becoming abused by many people in the industry and the industry at large. Forced labor, human trafficking, informal work is actually at an all-time high. Our industry has to make sure that that is completely unacceptable, that we are the bearers of that honor of work, not the dishonor of work. So our industry and frankly governments across the world must clamp down on human slavery and forced labor. It is absolutely a much more critical issue than I ever knew of until we started researching this over the last 5 years.